Hi, Green Group. Congratulations on doing well on your critical juncture assessment. Let's start with the warm up about mosasaurs. So, this is a mosasaur. It lived 65 million years ago. It's a really big reptile that lives in the ocean. The first question is, why do you think mosasaurs went extinct? Well, it says that an enormous asteroid hit the Earth, and there was also a lot of volcanic activity. Both the asteroid and the volcanoes caused big changes to the mosasaur's environment, including changes to climate, atmosphere, and ocean. Okay, so this is a really big predator reptile that lived in the ocean. It may be the one in Jurassic Park or Jurassic World. Why do you think they went extinct? Well, if something can't change to fit the environment, it goes extinct, can't adapt. So this asteroid must have caused such big changes that it could not adapt. Why do you think some changes caused extinctions and some just caused changes to species traits? So other organisms besides the Mosasaurus survived and their traits changed, including mammals. But how come the Mosasaurus couldn't do that? That's right. They couldn't change, they couldn't adapt fast enough. Um, Kind of like how some animals and plants have a tough time adapting to climate change because the change of pace is just too much. Let's go to part two. So, in part two, we are going to plan for Australope extinction. So, we're going to create two environments. In the first environment, we're going to create a change that is not so extreme. So, the Australopes will be able to adapt. And in environment B, we're going to create such a massive change that the Australopes go extinct. And what changes can we make? We can change the height of the thorn palms, and we can change how big the thorns are on the thorn palms. And we'll see if the Australopes can adapt with longer necks or stronger jaws. You can actually choose here. Do you want to change the height of the thorn palms or the size of the thorns, or maybe even both, and see if they can adapt or not? But the key difference here is like a small change in order for them to remain alive, and such a big change that they go extinct. So let's go to the simulation. This is actually the natural selection simulation, and we're going to go to exploring species change mode. Okay. So you can change thorn palm height, and you can also change thorn size. It's up to you. Well, let's look at what we have to do. Basically, create a change in the environment that causes adaptation, but Australopes don't go extinct, and then make such a big change in either the height or the size of the thorns that all the Australopes die and go extinct. And then the question at the bottom, why do you think environment B caused the Australope population to go extinct while they remained alive in A? How much the environment changes matters. That's why when it comes to climate change, if we can slow it down, it's much better than the climate changing really quickly. Kind of like COVID, flattening the curve. So let's go to part three. So let's go over part three for the green group. We're going to open vertebrates mode of the evolutionary history sim. Okay. Now We're going to place these 3 fossil species in the correct open location: Acanthostega, Eusthenopteron, Tiktaalik. So if you're in vertebrate mode, let's first do Acanthostega. Doesn't go there. Doesn't go there. Does go there. Let's do Tiktaalik. Does not go there. Does go there. And Eusthenopteron goes there. So what do we have to do? Which fossil species do you want to study today? So pick one of these 3. What do you know, or what can you infer about the environment of this species? So maybe you want to look at the structure. I mean, you can't study it. Let's look at Acanthostega. What can we infer about the environment? Acanthostega was aquatic and had gills, but instead of fins, they had small limbs. Although they had limbs, they were probably not able to walk on land. So maybe they walked in the water. Eusthenopteron had lungs in addition to gills. So maybe they came to the surface. And Tiktaalik. They have a neck, rib, and bones. They probably spent most of their time in shallow water. So choose one of these 3 organisms. What can you infer about the environment? Well, it depends on which one you choose. Come up with 2 possible ideas for what might have changed in the environment of this species to cause it to go extinct. So if there's a major environmental change that would cause it to go extinct, so all of these were aquatic. So maybe their aquatic ecosystem changed a lot. Like maybe they just lost their environment. Is a possibility. So like Tiktaalik spent a lot of time in shallow water. So maybe that shallow environment somehow changed by a lot. Like they lost their prey, or they couldn't hide in their shallow environment. I think a lot of these lived in shallow water. So maybe that environment changed drastically. What evidence from rocks or fossils might help you figure out whether either of these ideas about extinction is actually happened? Well, you can survey the surrounding area and see if there were other changes to the environment. Like, can you find fossils of other organisms there? Can you look at the geology and see that there was a sudden change in the geology somehow? So just signs that the environment changed. And let's end with part 4. So, you complete, over the past 2 days actually, Monday and Tuesday, you completed 3 activities. What's one main idea that you got from these activities? Please use the vocabulary. So for this green group, yesterday and today, you thought about Mosasaurus, you thought about Australopes going extinct, you thought about the evolutionary tree. So maybe for you guys, you want to focus on why do certain species go extinct and why do some species stay alive? You don't have to use all these words, but from yesterday and today, what's one thing you learned what's the main idea of what you learned from yesterday and today combined using these words?